So with a new content update comes a new Warbond. So let's talk about Masters of Ceremony. Let's immediately get into each individual item. First, let's talk about the only primary weapon in the Warbond, which is the Amendment. If you're a fan of the EBR from COD or the Mark 14 IRL, this is basically that. A light pen, 200 damage per shot marksman rifle that offers 8 mags, each at 20 round capacity. Honestly, when I saw this in the trailer and read the Sony blog post, I knew it was instantly going to be light pen marksman rifle, which isn't bad at all. I think the community has become a little spoiled and now requires every weapon to be at medium pen. Remember guys, pen does not equal damage. I will say I am disappointed that this weapon only offers a reticle or sight customization and nothing else. No barrel or even a mag option. I mean, the Tenderizer shares the same model mag, and that one is larger, so not being able to maybe slap on an extended mag was a bit disappointing. However, Arrowhead did say that they would be expanding the suite of attachments across weapons as time goes, so hopefully this weapon gets some love in that department. I see a lot of people, even big YouTubers like Mr. Pips, say this gun is absolutely useless on higher level difficulties. However, if you've ever used the normal diligence, you will get the same experience with this weapon, just at a different aesthetic, closer to the Constitution with a bayonet. I personally like marksman rifles on bots, and when I used it on squids, it was putting in the work for me. You will be one-shot headshotting Devastators and Berserkers on the bot front. You will just need to be able to hit those shots. Which, accuracy-wise, this is totally feelings-based. I felt like this gun was just gravitating towards headshots more easily, as well as, unlike the diligence, the bullets were like better zeroed to the scope. Maybe it's a skill issue, but personally, my favorite attachment for the gun is the 1.5 times red dot tube, and that's really it for the amendment. Now we get on to the saber. Helldivers 2 finally has a sword, and well, it's probably the coolest looking melee option in the game at the moment. Besides that, all I can really say is it's just another melee weapon in the game. If you like melee, well, now you have a sword. If you don't like melee, you probably are going to use this for one dive and then never use it again. When I only really brought this on squids, as it was fun cutting down voteless hordes, but I think this sword needs a swing increase speed and maybe a damage increase, as maybe I'm just bad since I don't use melee a lot. I had a lot of moments where I would cut off limbs no problem, but not really secure the kill, which would lead to me being surrounded by crawlers more so than corpses, would swipe at my feet and just hit me for chip damage. So maybe increasing those stats, or maybe it was just on me, and maybe if I slap peak physique on, that would fix those issues. Onto the grenade, and man, it's definitely a grenade. As I really don't know what the niche was for this to fill besides just looking absolutely sick. You basically are going to get a Beyblade that spews thermite sparks and flames in a circle, lighting enemies and the ground on fire, as well as the ability to close bug holes, which is dope. However, its damage and visual effects just don't match, as all the other flame nades out there outdamage it, as well as its explosion just isn't big enough. I think when Arrowhead gets around to some balance patches, this grenade is going to need some strong buffs to compete in the meta, because besides looking cool, all the fire grenade is at the moment either out DPS it, have more range, or both, which just isn't something I would want. Doesn't need to do the most damage, but it should excel at something, and currently the only thing it excels at is looking cool. Now, for the most controversial item on the Warbond, the flagpole. Now, when I first saw it, I said I was going to wait to get my hands on the weapon before I give an opinion, because that's just my mind. I think that's sane. I thought the reason why it was a stratagem to begin with was based off the verbiage used in the Sony blog post, that you'd be giving allies in a small radius, maybe around 5 or 15 meters, a buff to either damage, accuracy, or hell, even some minor health regen would have been sick. So you can imagine my disappointment when I called it in and found out it was really just a spear. A spear that has the same damage as a stun lance. Now, I'll list out some positives. It looks absolutely awesome. The vibes are there. It's funny as hell to charge at a flesh mob or squid drop with the flag of Super Earth in your hands. And I'm more than happy that the casual side of the community, the more roleplay side, got some content. But that's kind of it. I really wish this weapon provided some kind of buff. Usually when you have something like this, you take a weapon from its usual position in a game and place it in a different spot in the sandbox, It's because that item or weapon does something different to justify it being there. So when I heard we would be moving a melee weapon to a stratagem slot, I thought, well, there has to be a reason we are moving it to the blue stratagem slot for a reason. Just to find out there was no reason. Is very disappointing. As stated, I hope in the future Arrowhead really adds this waving the flag near allies and buffing teammates, as it provides an actual gameplay changing and completely new way to engage with Helldivers that would be awesome. The armor, I will say however, is some of the drippiest armor in the game and I love it. I'm here for this aesthetic. However, the perk of the armor is probably the most disappointing perk I've seen since the flinch reduction on Truth Enforcers. I don't know why we wanted to add a worse version of servo assisted since you have a 50-50 chance of your limbs being broken. But wait, actually, it's just a worse version of Democracy Protects, because that's a 50-50 shot of not dying. I just don't know why you would want a 50% chance of your leg or arm breaking over a 50% chance of not dying. I really think this should just get reworked completely. So maybe since this was released with marksman rifles, you can get a siege ready variant that applies to marksman rifles. I just think this perk was an absolute miss. Just really exaggerates the need for armor to have swappable perks at this point. We did get a great booster for new players and returning Helldivers. The sample scanner boost will basically be giving you a 25% to loot a second sample for free. Honestly, this is just me. It should be 50 or 75% chance every time you pick up a sample you get another one, but I still love that we are adding stuff for players to catch up quicker with getting those ship modules. Hell, could motivate more players to donate to the DSS. I like the booster, but to be honest, I probably won't be using it until new ship mods drop. And that's everything really in the Warbond. Besides a fun emote that has an Easter egg in it and a title that is absolutely stellar, I think genuinely this Warbond suffers from issues of being overall having too many misses, with just a few hits. This wouldn't be the first time we get a Warbond that really only has one or two things going for it, yet inherently that's not the problem. To me, I find it sad that Warbonds are becoming smaller and smaller and even longer waits between them. The issue to me isn't that the Warbond is a drip or meme Warbond, it's that we didn't really set expectations for it and had to wait even longer this go around for it. Currently, the game, only through Warbonds, really has mass injections of weapons and perks that allow for gameplay to overall shift. And I understand that people chasing meta and performance, for the most part, have used the same stuff for months at this point, and now we're really hoping for this Warbond to be shifting things up. And I'm sorry that didn't happen. I think Arrowhead really needs to invest time into creating a 10-page mobilization that costs $15, that really pushes Helldivers' power in a more vertical manner, as this Warbond was mainly just a horizontal power progression with just more options in the game, but nothing really sticking out. Which isn't bad on its face. Not every Warbond needs to be elevating the sandbox in power. However, when it's the only way that power is introduced to the player for the most part, it does require some more thought behind the additions besides, let's meme. Even with all that, I still like the Warbond. I hope the flag gets a rework to allow you to buff people, and I am disappointed with the armor perk and grenade. Would I recommend you buy it if you were new or a returning player? Probably not, no. Probably should just go get Democratic Detonation or something with more vertical power progression before investing in this one. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section. Also, I will say this one last thing because I saw Clay and a multitude of other YouTubers say this. The amendment is not a reskin of the Constitution. They have totally different weapon models, whole different reload animations, whole different stats, sound effects, and even attachments. But besides that, thank you for watching. If you are looking to play with fellow Helldivers and escape the chaos of random lobbies, join the 2nd Liberation Battalion where we run special events and fight the enemies of democracy. As well as shout out to all my channel members and coffee supporters who fund the dream. I'll catch y'all next time and be safe, and most importantly, don't drown.